Hello everyone, welcome to this session. I hope everybody is doing great. Before the session starts, I'll quickly read out the basic rules that one must follow throughout the session. You all are requested to maintain the decorum of the interaction. Kindly mute yourselves until you are asked to say something. If any query arises in your mind in the middle of the session, you can write it in the chat box. Your query will surely be addressed as soon as possible. You are forbidden to record the session, but taking screenshot is allowed. Any kind of misconduct or misbehavior will not be tolerated and strict actions will be taken against it. Being mature enough to handle this session sincerely, we expect from you all to take maximum from the event. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Hi, Priya.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Ashutosh.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi,
Good
Shubham.
evening, everyone. We request you to all extend a gracious welcome to our today's guest speaker, the one and only Miss Divya Mishra Ma'am. Please welcome her with warm greetings.
Okay. Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you so much, guys.
Good evening to
So,
one and all present over here. I, Priya Yadav,
And I, Ankita Pandey,
feel delighted to welcome you all to the ninth session of Margdarshan presented by IERT Alumni Association. We are highly obliged and feel honored to welcome Mrs. Divya Mishra Ma'am from 2014 batch of IERT from CSC branch. Currently, she is working as lead program analyst at EXL services. She was campus placed in TCS and worked as system engineer for more than 2 years in Chennai. After that, she joined DXC as a program developer and worked in Noida for a year and then moved to United Kingdom for a project. She came back to India in 2018 and switched to EXL as program analyst and later promoted to the lead program analyst at EXL. I would now humbly request ma'am to enlighten us with her valuable career journey experiences and inspire us with her guidance.
thank you so much, Priya, for the introduction. I think you covered most of it. All right. I think that is the gist of it. I was a student at IERT from 2010 to 2014. I was in computer science. After I finished my college, I joined TCS, where I was campus placed from IERT itself. My first project was in Chennai. I shifted to Chennai and worked there for 2 years and 9 months. That entire duration was not in Chennai. I think for 2 years, 6 months I was in Chennai, and then I moved to Gurgaon. From Gurgaon, I switched to DXC. DXC is another organization which is located in Noida. So I started working over there. From there, I went to UK, and then I came back. I joined EXL, and in EXL, I'm working as a lead analyst. My focus of work has majorly been web development, or rather web application development. That I have done in all these three companies. There were different kind of projects, different kind of clients, and there were different kind of business problems that needed solution. So that's what we were trying to deliver. Uh, I'm honored that you guys considered inviting me, and I'm glad that if I could be of any help, I'll be really grateful. So thank you. Uh, Ashutosh, I mean, would you mind coming to camera, some of you, because it's I can't see your faces right now. I think the conversation would be more interactive if we are on camera. I understand that it gets a bit difficult because you might be at your home, you might not want to share your screen and all, but think that is something you can try because once you are part of the corporate culture, we generally have a lot of business meetings and we generally share the screen and show faces. So, uh, if anyone is interested, okay, no issues. Carrying on. Hi, Ashutosh. So, what would be the next agenda?
Ma'am, shall we
Yeah.
move to questions?
Yeah, great. We Yes, Ankita.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, Ashutosh must have sent you the questionnaire.
Yeah. Okay. So you want me to read the questions one by one and go through?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'll open the questionnaire and I'll start with that. Just one point. If even if during the answer you have any questions, you can promptly, interrupt, raise your hand or whatever, and ask your question. I understand that many times when we hear the answer of one question, we have another doubts. So it would be helpful if you ask the question promptly. Okay. Okay. So the first question that I have in this list is from Shubhan Jain. He's in third year, and his first question is, what should be the strategy to get a high-paying job in IT sector? Okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Shubham. Um, Now, before answering to that question, I would want to explain that when we think about or talk about IT sector, it is not one homogeneous place. Okay, the IT sector itself has variety of companies and variety of different kind of companies, and they have different kind of packages and pay scales. Okay, so if I talk about the Indian market right now, there are three, four major um, type of companies as we can see. One is the service based, the product based, um, unicorns, and startups. In service based also we have some um, you know small service based companies, and then we have huge big players in service based companies. So big service based companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Accenture, IBM as well. In small service based companies, you can see a lot of companies in Noida that pop up here and there. They are doing pretty well in business for the past 10-15 years, and they have a decent reasonable size. Now, the service based sector, it employs most of the people because they need most of the people. Their work majorly are, providing services to clients who are not in India but outside, be it US, UK, Germany, Australia, all around the globe. All the Indian, most of the big conglomerates, whichever are present outside India, almost all of them have their work being done in India, at least one department or the other. Because of that, the entire requirement is huge. So they employ most people. But since they employ most people, they have a standard package. On that package, people generally get hired. It might be an exception that maybe some person had some way of getting more money than that, but the general package expectation is between 3 to 4. That is how you start. But once you have started, as you grow in the career, you get more opportunity, you learn more things, you get more skilled, and you start making more money. And that actually has no set format. You can, once you have started, after that you can go in any direction, do anything, and get as much as you could. So after that it is mostly skill based. That's about service sector. Then the other companies are product based. In product based also we have high end product based and normal product based companies. The high end product based are, we have Amazon and Microsoft and Google. And then we have normal product based companies. These companies are present all across the country, located mainly in Bangalore and Noida and Gurgaon as well. Now, these companies, the product based companies, they pay differently, a much higher package as compared to the service based companies. Even the lower or smaller product based companies, they pay more than the service based companies. But the issue is, um, getting into these companies is difficult. A, because they have a very high standard of selection and they have a difficult selection procedure. And B, they employ a very small number of people. So the competition is huge. And then we have startups. Startups require rigorous coding experience, not experience, rigorous coding skills, which you get from many websites that are available, coding competitions that are happening all across. We have interview with, we have code chef and all these websites where you can go and practice your coding skills. So these are the places from where a lot of startups and companies, they pick up their candidates. And then we have unicorns. These mostly act as product based companies. Unicorns include your Flipkart, your Zomato, and they also try to employ people who are extremely good in coding, and they have a very rigorous process of selecting, but they again hire very little number of people. I hope that answers your question, Shubham. Okay. Okay, moving on. What are the technologies that have great scope in IT sector, computing, developers, web development, etc.? Okay. So in past, I think past decade, or especially in past 2 years, 3 years, it has happened more that the cloud computing portion or the cloud computing part has actually exploded. Now, what generally happens is the big companies, they can afford a server. They can afford an infrastructure on which they will have their websites, and they have the computation power. But when it comes to small players, um, they do not have the infrastructure. So what they would want is they would want services like cloud services to come, and instead of these people directly working and hosting their websites, they would want the cloud companies to do that, and they just use their service on rental basis. This has expanded a lot in past couple of years because most of the businesses have gone online. Even if especially during COVID, even if you have a small shop, you do not have the possibility to open the shop, so you would be selling online. Either you can you can collaborate with companies like Flipkart and Amazon and be a seller over there. But if you do not want to do that, if you want to maintain your identity, then you would set up your own website, you would set up your own supply and chain system. So because of all that, cloud computing is hot. Apart from that, there is another technology which is not mentioned here. It is DevOps. So which has gained quite a lot of momentum in last couple of years. It has been recently introduced, and it is still growing. So when we work in an IT company, as a developer, or in a place where we work on web applications, there are two major portions. One is the application development, the development part where we write the code, we test the application, and the other place is how we host this application on the server. So DevOps is a person who is working in both sides. He can develop and he can host the application and perform operation tasks as well. So they have their own separate set of tools, separate set of methodologies to work. That is also something you can look at. If you can learn it, that is also a very good career option, and that has a lot of scope. Apart from that, I would say that data science and data analytics has gained a lot of momentum because after the kind of data that we have in our hand right now, in all these companies, be it Facebook or Twitter, and I think all the companies, even Google, they all are collecting data. Now, someone has to, mine this data, see the pattern, see how this data is impacting their products, their services, and the business altogether. That is where a data analyst would come. The data analyst, they need different kind of technical skills. There's a programming language R, so they use that and define models and do a lot of data cleaning and pattern creation and data modeling, that sort of work. That is also a hot career choice right now. Apart from that, and also Shubham, I would want to explain to you one thing. These things, they keep on coming. So a lot of these things that we are seeing right now, they were not in existence when I started my career. So there is a good possibility that when you start your career, say in 2022 or 23, you might learn something entirely different in 2027 or 2030, because what you would be using in 2030 might not even be in use or in widely practice right now. Okay. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moving on which type should focus more in college life, development and competitive coding. um there are two aspects of it. First is you need to figure out where exactly you want to go. If you say that you want to be a hardcore developer, you are targeting the product based companies, or if you're not able to get hands on a product based companies like Microsoft and Amazon right away, you would want to start with something like a startup, but build yourself to be a technical guru and progress in that field. I would say that the coding competitions would really help. The overall personality development is anyway important, no matter which industry you're part of, because once you get into the company, there are so many aspects of your work. Okay. You are interacting with clients, you're understanding the business need before coding, before the problem actually gets down to coding. There are so many processes in between. You should be part of planning, designing, and all that thing requires a lot of interaction and understanding. Okay. So that overall development, overall, um, having the aptitude to discuss the ideas with people, that sort of thing also you need to learn along with the coding skills, which are quintessential. There is no doubt about that. Shubham, just to confirm, what I mean, from college life development, I understood that you're talking about personality development and all those things. Did you mean anything other than that?
No, actually, ma'am, I concerned about the about the project development, like web development. I am currently a web developer, so developing about the project and getting into the other field like cloud, learning cloud, and building project, and all these kind of stuff.
Okay. See, it's really good that you have one particular project and you are learning about it, and that is the development with what you're going with. Great. You should go with that. Um, I think it would be really helpful. The kind of development you are doing, it is really helpful when you would go to actual companies and explain, then this is the kind of project I have done, this is the kind of work I've done. Even if you do not go and you just put your entire development, entire project on GitHub, you might get some recognition over there. So all these things are helpful. Um, Coding, I think, would be a part of it then. Okay. If you are developing a project, you would do a lot of coding in order to get those things done. Coding competition is something just to hone those skills that you would ultimately be using in your project. So if you're directly working on a project, well and good, but in order to keep yourself sharp, it is important that you devote some time to the coding competition and these coding websites as well. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
is that clear? Yeah, okay,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Yeah. How do we keep ourselves motivated towards coding while other people are focusing on gate and other things? Okay, yeah, that's a tough question. Okay, so um, this is majorly this all boils down to the fact that what is your priority, or where do you want to go in your career? Okay, if you have a clear path and you know that this is what you want to do, this is where you want to go, then it doesn't matter that what the other people are doing, because they might have something else in their mind. They might have a different career path. They might be planning for cat or gmat or gate, as a matter of fact, because they have some other idea. They have a different uh, career guide altogether. You know that you are doing this because you want to attain this, so you are working in that direction. Right now in college, you still have less choices. uh, People are either trying to get a job right after BTech, or they are trying to do GATE, or they are trying to do MBA, or they are trying to pursue government jobs. These are few set of things on which people are working. These are 4 or 5 things. Once you get into the actual, when your career actually starts, then these choices multiply by many folds. Okay, then there are 50 different things that people are doing, and all those things, they sound equally lucrative and have their own advantages. But not every choice is for everyone. We need to figure out what we want to do, what makes us most happy, what keeps us always engaged, what kind of work gives us joy, and whatever is that, we need to work in that direction. It might even change. You might, be a great developer right now. You do this and you are, working greatly right now. You're earning good money, but 5 years down the line, you realize that no, you want to do MBA, and that's fine. You can go with that. But at every point of time, it is important that you should know that what you want to achieve right now and in your immediate future, and work in that direction. Everyone will have their own thing, so it's okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, now the next question is by Preeti Darshani. She is in second year. What is the meaning of success in your dictionary? Wow, that's a very difficult question, Preeti. Thank you for asking. Beta, for me, success would be that I should have a life, not just work wise. In every context, I should have a life which I would consider worth living. I should be able to do everything that I want to do. Uh, have a fulfilling career, have enough time to enjoy on leisure activities, have a well balanced family life, all of it in, and a lot of money. I'm little ambitious in that, so that kind of life, I would consider it as success. But that is my definition of success. I think it would be different for different people. Uh, People prioritize things based on their own ideologies all the time. Ayushman, were you saying something? Uh, I think I heard some noise. Ayushman, were you saying something? Okay, no
I
issues.
think it was by mistake.
Okay, okay, no problem. So that is the kind of life I aspire to live, and it's just a normal, decent life with enough money and lots of happiness, good work, and hopefully make something substantial out of my work. So that's it. That would be great. Next is Samidha Saxena. She's in second year. How to manage between college studies and preparation for different exams? Good question. It depends what kind of exam. If you're trying to give exams like GATE, okay, where your primary area of study is engineering itself, then it is helpful because you are anyway studying those concepts in your college and in your college studies. So the both these preparation go hand in hand. If you're preparing for some different kind of exams, say you started preparing for UPSC or you started preparing for CAT, so in that case, you have to divide your time and give almost equal weightage to that area of study as well. Now, here, there also we have certain different kind of scenarios. Not everyone learns or understands things at the same pace. For some people, reading a book once is enough. For some people, they need multiple iterations. So you need to figure out what would be the frequency of your study. Apart from that, I believe that if you have made a firm decision that you want to do an MBA after your college, or you want to go for UPSC or any other exam, because there is some different line that you already have set up, then I don't think it's my personal opinion. Then I don't think you should be worried too much about the college courses. You should do it enough to get by, get decent marks. If you're coming in first division, I think that should be enough. You need not do other activities that are related to your college, like coding competitions and whatever is specific to your branch. Maybe the electrical students, they have their own set of projects or their own set of trainings that they undergo. You might not need it if you are planning to appear in MBA. There might be certain different things that you need in order to build your profile and all those things. If you're planning for government exams, you definitely don't need these things. If you have a clear idea that this is what you want to do, then your maximum focus should be on that. And the second, hi Rohit. Okay. And your college but your education is definitely important. These are the mark sheets that you would be showing for rest of your life. So you need good grades, decent enough grades. It's just that along with our college studies, we do a lot more things. You might not involve yourself too much into that. You might focus on the things that you have set your mind on. Again, that is how I would function if I'd have to give an exam which is very different from what I'm studying. The next person is Saurabh Yadav from Mechanical Engineering second year. How to get good off campus placement as an engineering student? Okay, I think this question is something that scares or creates anxiety for most of the students. I think I have gone through same sort of doubts when I was studying. um we have we I hope that you guys get a lot of opportunity in your campus itself. A lot of companies come this year and next year, so you guys would be less worried about off campus. If you have to go off campus, then you have to keep a track of as many job fairs as possible that are happening around you, or any place that is accessible to you. If I remember what my batchmates had done at that time was, many of them had, whoever had access to, they had gone to places like Delhi and Bangalore for a month at the time of placement seasons to attend job fairs. A lot of you might not have that access, and so you have to look at the opportunities which are happening all around. There are so many engineering colleges within Allahabad. So you might, always remember which college is having campus fair. Whatever is open, wherever you can go, you should go. I remember people from IERT, from my batch, getting placed in HCL, whose job fair was held, I think, in in I think in some other engineering college within Allahabad itself. Apart from that, we also have an option. We have certain exams. These exams are like e-litmus, co-cubes, and AMCAT. So what they do is, uh, the biggest challenge that we face at this time is we do not have a platform to connect with the employers. Okay, if they are not coming to your campus, then how would you get an interview? If the colleges around you, they have like 1,000 people or 2,000 students attending, everybody might not even get a chance to sit in the interview. Then how would you get to tell the employer that you have the necessary skills, and you do have the necessary skills? Please always believe that you have the necessary skills. How would you tell that to employers? That is where these exams, they come into picture. You give these aptitude test kind of things. The companies, they shortlist students from these kind of things, and from there they invite the students for their interview and the other processes. Okay, so it becomes the first round or the preliminary round for your interview process. At my time, I had given AMCAT. I was preparing for e-litmus, but before that I got placed, so I did not do that. But you should go for these exams. If you want to give just one exam, fine. You can always see which company is using which exam. If you want to give all three, then also okay. Maximum choices. Whatever level of choices you're comfortable having, you should go for it. So these are certain methods which you can employ in order to get a job. But yeah, the market is tough. You need to have enough requirement in the Indian market and the global market, that it's for any student who is intelligent, who has the necessary skills, will land a job sooner or later. Maybe the first company comes and you don't get selected, the second one will come, the third one will come. There are endless number of companies. um, Once you are actually in the business, then very good. After that, you just have to navigate between these. Life comparatively becomes easy. I think the most difficult part is getting into the industry. So for that, you have to employ certain methods. Once you are into it, you'd be able to navigate between those. So all the best, and keep preparing. Okay. Saurabh, so did that answer your question, or you have any doubts? Okay. Moving on. We have a question from Ranjana Mishra, who's a second year student. What was the role of IERT in your career building? Okay. Um, so I think every student would experience that engineering college or engineering studies, they are not just a course, they are a lifestyle. There are many challenges, not just in terms of academia, but different kind of things that you learn in your duration of 4 years. So I think those things we experienced as well. My batch it was full of people who were charismatic, who were intelligent, who were just brilliant. So I had great colleagues, I had great classmates, I had very good seniors, I had amazing teachers. There were few hiccups, I must say. There were few things that had gone wrong, but I think that happens in most of the colleges at some point or the other. So that's okay. But apart from that, IERT has given me a very wholesome kind of experience when it comes to college life. And I was just grateful that I was part of the community. So that is. And then I was also the part of training and placement cell. So I had seen students struggling, and what all things we were doing at that time. I was part of the a lot of fests that had happened. So all those things, they really create an experience for you that ultimately become your college life. College life is just not studies, it is an amalgamation of all those things. So it was great. Thank you, Ranjana, for that question. Next is Shivam Rajput from Mechanical Engineering from second year. How to maintain consistency in studies? Okay, good question. Then, Shivam, I would suggest that if you think that you have difficulty in, being motivated enough to do the studies every time on timetable, and share it with your friends, and your friends can plan this, follow the same timetable, and keep each other in check. Okay, that I have completed this chapter, did you complete this? And do some sort of collaboration over there. If one person feels that okay, they get demotivated, they completed one chapter and then they're like, okay, I don't know, no, I'll not play, I'm not in mood to study today. So if you want to avoid that, then maybe you can create a group of people who would motivate each other. But the problem with that is, what if they demotivate each other equally and then everything falls apart? So that is a risk that you would be taking. But at certain point of time, at certain time in life, the only thing that really helps you is your own motivation or your own determination to continue what you are doing, and know that what you're doing is really important to you, and this should get prioritized over the other activities or everything else. And um, and always remember, if you're not studying the entire semesters, you are crying 2 days before the exam, so you would be studying your eyes out at that time. So it's up to you. You want to do it all along and be chilled out at the end, or skip it during the beginning of the session, and then last 2 months would be crazy. So the choice would be yours. uh, Shiva, did that answer your question? Okay, fine. This batch is very shy, nobody is talking. Why? What happened?
If anybody is here, please respond to ma'am.
Thanks, Kushwinder. Okay. The next question is from Varsha Patel from Civil Engineering. How to overcome anxiety and distractions while focusing on your goals? Um, Varsha, the first thing I would say is anxiety is normal. I mean, I can understand that being a student, knowing that you have to cover the engineering curriculum, which is huge in its own aspect, and then you have to worry about so many different things, like um you have to worry about the all the extra things that you have to do, the projects, the trainings, and then the placements. All these things can cause worry, and can make you enough anxious that you might actually lose focus from your goals. But just to give you some perspective, it's okay, you're not alone. You have thousands of engineering students all across the country who are going, more than thousand, I think lakhs of engineering students all across the country who are going through exactly what you're going through. And we all do support each other, no matter how much talk is there about cutthroat competition and all those things. I think students and even working professionals do have the capability to rise above that competition mentality and actually help each other. And that actually creates a better environment for studying and for work. When you look at the other person who is with you, and you do not see that person as a competition but as a collaborator, and then you think of working together with that person instead of working better than that person. That brings out the best in us. So Varsha, remember, We all have, and not just lakhs of students who are studying with you, lakhs of students who have studied before you, and many more to come. They all will go through the same process. The process is tough, but what we gain at the end of it is worthwhile. It makes you the person you are. It hones your skills, not just your studying skills, not just your technical skills, but your capability to manage hardships in life. So you will get over all these things and you will focus on your goals because that is where your priority should be. And whenever you are worried, talk to your friends, talk to your seniors, um, talk to the other people who are part of the industry or if they are planning to be part of the industry, and they will tell you that this seems difficult from the outside, but it is doable because many of us, I mean, most of us do that, and we get there. So it's okay. It won't be any different for you. You will also get there, like a lot of people in my batch have, a lot of people in my juniors and your juniors and then your seniors. I guess there is a difference of 7 batches between mine and yours, and I can actually say that more than 60 to 70% people are doing amazingly good in their life. I mean, they are not they are not the technical gurus, and they are not just printing money, obviously, but they have something that we can call as a substantial career which has a lot of potential to grow. So if all these people have done it, you would also no need to be worried about it. Okay, Varsha?
Ma'am,
Yeah,
good evening, ma'am.
yeah. Good evening, Yushka. Tell me.
Ma'am, as a beginner, you have joined TCS. Ma'am,
Yes.
while working with TCS, can you tell me that it is mandatory that we are excellent in programming language, then only we can apply for it?
No, it's not mandatory at all. Um, I think all the companies, the service-based companies that I was talking about in the first question, they do not look for programming excellence. They cannot look for programming excellence, okay? Because the kind of studies that we do in college and the kind of work we do when we are actually in the job, it is very different. Okay, what I am in a position in my company that I take interviews now, and what we see in any candidate is if they have a decent understanding of the concepts they are studying, what their syllabus is. We try to know, okay, this person is in final year, it means that person has done one programming language. So that person, if that person has done maybe Java, so that person should know the basic OOPS concept. That's it. And I'm not asking that person to write a web application using Java applets. No, we are not doing that. We just want the person to know OOPS concept or the basic mechanism of data structures. That's fine. If the person knows between difference between stacks and queues, it's okay for that level of student. Okay, the person should know the basic structure of a query, how to write a query, what exactly is a relational database. These sort of questions. It takes people years to become excellent in programming. Many of the people who are working in this industry, they are also not excellent in programming. Excellence is not a process. Excellence is not a complete state. It is a process. You get there, you practice. Practice doesn't come in when you're in college. Practice comes when you start working in actual projects in life. You get, no matter how good you are in particular programming language right now, okay, there is a good possibility that that programming language becomes obsolete in the industry and the industry starts using some other programming language. Does that mean that you are not a developer anymore? No, you are still a developer, because since you know the concepts that you have learned in college, you will be able to quickly pick up another programming language, and you would be as good in that programming language as you were in the previous one, because what you are learning in your college life is the fundamental. That is what the companies are looking for. You should know coding. The better you know coding, the better it is for your resume. But if you're thinking that being excellent or being untouchable in coding, that my coding standards are so high that nobody can compete me. That is the only way to get into the companies, and it's not. And also one more thing, many of the companies, they do not look for these things also because they always have their own training programs which they run after they hire freshers. Okay, so we all have gone through a training process. So mine was in TCS for 2 months. Many companies like Infosys, they have 3 months training programs. Some companies have 1.5 months, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So the idea is to get students from college who know enough about their curriculum, and that is because that is just to check if they are hardworking and uh, you know good enough to study. I mean, they are not people who don't care about studying. If you show that you are a decent student who care about his studies, who understands the studies, then it's fine. You know the basic fundamentals, and whatever next is required for your actual job, the companies will anyway train you. The companies would, do a thorough training and make sure that you work as per their standards. So it's okay. Yusra, is that
Okay,
does
ma'am.
that answer? Okay, okay. Uh,
Ma'am,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi, Shubham.
hello, ma'am. I have a query about it. As being from a third type college and not having much on-campus opportunities, so how to attract the off-campus companies? मतलब, maybe I have applied to almost I think 20 plus positions for intern position and other position which I am eligible for, and got call from I guess only one, and which I got failed in the interview. That's another stuff. So, ma'am, thing is कि मतलब our resume is got out from the screening part of the interview or the companies. So how to get over that, or how to make our resume powerful? What are the things we should put in it? That if the fundamentals is the most important thing we should focus on.
Okay, so you are talking about internships or the actual placements?
And both. I have since I am in third year, so I can only apply
You
for the
try to
internship.
prepare.
That's why I have.
Okay. If you know there is a website called Internshala, you must be using that for your interview, for your internships, right? Um, the other important aspect to remember is, and this is not just helpful right now when you're fresher, it would be helpful when you move further in life, is um, whenever you apply in a company, okay, look at the job description they have given for that internship or that particular job opening, and see how much of that is present in your CV. Okay. What companies generally do is the screening doesn't really happen by people, it happens by machines. So, what happens is these machines or these automated algorithms, they match your resume against their own job description skills, okay, against their own skills that they have mentioned for a particular role. If you and they have some matching criteria that 95% match is allowed or 97% match is allowed. If you clear that threshold, your CV is further processed. So my suggestion would be, in order to improve your CV, what we generally plan on doing is, okay, add more, add more accolades, add more certificates and all that. That is fine, but that would be helpful when a human being or an actual HR would read. In big companies, the HR is not reading. They are getting a lot of resumes. Their machines are reading. So in your skills section of your resume, add things which are present in most of the JDs. That way, you would clear that machine wala threshold, and you would get to the next round. The other thing I would suggest is, especially for internships, um, get hold of your seniors, and whenever you see an opening in any company, check if you know anyone who's working in that company, and check with that person if they can refer you. Especially for internships, if someone refers you, it becomes easy for you to get the interview. I won't say that it is equally true for the job, for job opportunities, the companies have their own setup of how they hire freshers, but for internships, they do consider employee referrals. So um, check with if you see a job posting for internship, check who you know in that company. It might be your senior, you might just know the person by name, just contact them on LinkedIn or whatever means you have. And if you see, ask that person to refer. It's very easy for that person. If there is already a job posting for that on an official website, it becomes easy for that person to refer you. They just have to give your CV to the HR. They can do it. Okay, so these are few things that you can use. Okay, Shubham?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, hi Shivandu.
Uh, Ma'am, basically I have two questions.
Yeah.
So the first question is, what really was your timeline when you were in college? Like we have heard from many of the past seniors that you like have to get serious from the first year, second year, third year of college. Like what actually was your timeline during the preparation for your placement?
Um, okay. So, okay, I would say that I was honestly not very serious when I was in college. In first year, first year of college, not college, but just first year of college. I was very happy that I got to college directly after 12th. So my first year I was studying for the exams, but just studying for the exams, not worrying much about all the other things you guys are worried about in second year. Am I? My God, you guys are worried about things in second year. That's a good thing to see. We became extremely focused in the middle of third year, to be honest. I mean, people would say that they became serious much before that. In second year, third year, they were trying, but actually trying for something or actually seriously looking at the options, we started doing it in the second semester of third year, when we knew that okay, in this semester we have to try for an internship. That is where we started looking for options. Before that, our priority was just clear the exams, study as much as you can, and do some coding, extra coding on the side, and just play around. That was our college life for at least 2.5 years.
Okay, okay, ma'am. The next question is, is it good to work on different projects, or is it better to work only on one project or one major project and alter that project timely?
um Depends to what degree you can alter that project. I would personally recommend working on multiple projects at different point of time. So take a small project, something which is doable, and finish that off, complete it. Okay, and then
Okay,
that way you have something to show for. Okay, this is my fully developed project. I've put this on my GitHub page. It is available there. Then you moved on to something else, completed that project. So the major thing that it does is um, it builds you it gives you a lot of confidence that you have an actual working project in hand. Okay, starting small um, gives you a lot of time to hone your skills, because because many a times we plan on big things, but when we start doing it, we see many obstacles that we have not thought of before. Okay, and that really discourages people, right? So if you are planning for a very big project right from the beginning, and then you get stuck in the first module or the second module, it could be disheartening, right?
yeah.
And it's not good for your self confidence. I would say that start small, make 2 or 3 mini projects. Do not give too much time to them. Give yourself a timeline. Okay, I have 2 weeks. This is my 2 weeks project, so I'll finish it off in 2 weeks. This is my 3 weeks project. Then once you have those things in hand, then when you have overcome a lot of technical issues in those mini projects itself, you know something, the technology better, and you can apply those things when you work on a big project. What happens is every project teaches us a lot more than we expected from it. It's not just the coding ideas or the algorithms. It is about the technical issues. It is about the small things that comes in between, the small problems that we face. And once you learn those things, your future projects become easy, right? So it's good to have
Yes, ma'am.
multiple. Yeah. Shivendu,
Okay.
that answers
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
question, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Hi, Yusra.
ma'am, as you were from the computer science branch, and here many students from are from other branches as well. Ma'am, do you want
Mm.
to give any suggestion, any career option suggestion for them?
Um, okay. First of all, I mean, I think they would know better about their core industry companies than I do, or their seniors who are working in their own in their own core companies. So a lot of electronic students, they go for companies like Nokia and Ericsson and Samsung. So they have their own thing going on. They know it better. From the perspective of IT, if they plan to work in IT, then I would say that they need not be a lot worried. And if they want, they can switch to IT. If they want, they can be part of their own core industry if that interests them, because that is why they might have chosen this particular field. So there are enough ample opportunities in other sectors apart from IT. There are enough in retail, in manufacturing, and a lot of students are going with that. I might not be the best person to advise on that because I do not have exposure to those industries. But what I see other people or people around me doing is that looks like you know, decent enough there are decent enough options present all around for them to pursue further. But in that, their strategy has to be different from what I was discussing. The companies or the you know, the exams or the codings and all that, it would be different for them, which I'm not aware of. I'm so sorry.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, as you have told about the cloud and the DevOps as the most focused fields in nowadays, so how should, as a student, we should start toward this field? As a cloud, I think should I take a certificate in Azure Cloud Computing? I think its name is Azure Associate, Cloud Associate.
Yeah. So, Shubham, I wouldn't advise you to get a certification right away, because or at least not any higher level certification right away, because the certification always asks if you have real experience or not. And since you don't have real experience, then then the certification it's alone would not be that helpful for you. But what you can do actually is you can get study material from different kind of websites like YouTube and Udemy and all that. Study cloud, okay, for both Amazon Web Services, that is one cloud service, is the most successful one right now, and the second one is Azure. They have a student's account which is free for 1 year. Okay, what we can you can do is you can actually develop your project, okay, and host it on your cloud account, okay, and that way you would have some real life experience of how to actually host an application on cloud, what exactly are the cloud principles on which you work. That way you would get some experience, and then you go for certification, because when you know, do the certification, after that you would have a backup that this is not just a certification, a blank certification I've done. I have done some work with it, so my knowledge is substantial. So with that, when you would sit in an interview, that would be a great advantage to you. Okay.
Ma'am, actually, I have started clouds from some Udemy courses. I have
Hmm.
tried at least, I think, two or three, and they start telling about and this is the product or service. Learn to use them and just use it, and just roll after it. Get another service. Learn billing. Learn how to use it. Is it all about the cloud and there are the principles or something we should say core about the cloud? Thing is that
Okay.
using services is not the part of मतलब what I am trying to say.
Yeah, I understand. So, the course that you took on Udemy, that course was for Azure, right? Or Azure or AWS?
AWS man.
AWS. See, so what happens is these courses, they are designed for a particular exam. Okay. So the exam is taken by these companies. So Amazon takes the exam for AWS, or Microsoft takes the exam for Azure. So they don't ask much about the basic computing principles. They talk about, or their exam is catered around their tool, because they want to promote their tool. They want more people to be aware of their tool, so that these people implement their tool in their companies. Okay. So all these exams, they are part of their marketing strategy. Now, as a student, you do not have much to contribute in that direction. You wouldn't, start using AWS or Azure for a commercial application right now. What you need is a basic course on cloud computing, the principles of cloud computing. Okay. That For that you do not need a paid course on Udemy. For that you can go for unlimited study material which is present in YouTube and on other tutorial sites. Okay. What you would need after that is, then you would need these tools, because you have studied all the principles of cloud computing, but at the end you have to implement it on some cloud. Then these tools will come into picture. But there is no point going on these tools before you know the basic concepts. So don't go for Udemy courses for understanding those basic concepts. Go to YouTube. That is a better place.
Got it, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Hi, Yusra.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as you have said that in third year, second semester, you got serious about your career and all, and you got campus placed in TCS in third year. Ma'am, what was your plan B like if you were not got selected in the TCS? What was your next move?
As I told, I had given AMCAT, so I was expecting interviews from there. Apart from that, I was also planning for e-litmus. Um, I am from Lucknow. I mean, my parents live in Lucknow. I was studying in Allahabad. So, uh, if I would not have gotten enough calls from e-litmus and AMCAT as well, I would have, you know, gone for the job fairs in Lucknow and whatever are the nearby places. But I think um, what I have seen different people doing it is, these three, four things become enough for you to get at least one job in a decent enough company that you can actually start building. Then you can actually start working. If and you start, last option, if nothing else works, if you think that okay, you have tried all these things and still not getting options, then there is one more option, that is, I think, that should be kept as last resort, but could be used. That is, go for contractual roles. So what happens is, there are many consulting firms, there are many hiring recruiting firms. Okay, anyone can enroll in those companies. You can get enough information about those companies online. You can contact those companies and ask them if they can refer you for some contractual roles. So for a lot of projects, TCS or even many companies, even big companies like Deloitte and Barclays, they don't hire their own candidates. They put people on contract. The contract has some duration, 6 months, 1 year. Then, based on some performance, your contract might get extended, or your contract might get, you know, uh, you might even get a permanent position, and your contract might, just end, and you do not get anything after that. That is why it is a risky thing. But I feel that it is a risk worth taking, because you do get a real work experience and an opportunity. And 6 months or 1 year is enough for you to, at least see how the work is, how you can, progress more. And you get access to the companies, different companies. If you start, suppose you start in TCS not as a permanent employee, but as a contractual employee, you know that your contract is going to end in 6 months. So you know right away that, okay, you need to work on these things and start, trying things. So, and now when you apply to other companies, you would not be applying as a fresher. You would be applying as an experienced resource. So that is one advantage of it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Um, okay. I think, Yusra, you were also, I think the next question was from you only. What is the current hiring scenario for companies in the market? I would say that the current hiring scenario is pretty good. Why is that? Because in past couple of years, especially after COVID, what happened was a lot of businesses realized that they do not need an actual workspace in order to have employees. The employees can just sit at home and work for them. And once the businesses outside India realized that, they realized that if they do not need people in the office, they do not need people inside their country as well. So a lot of those roles came to India. Apart from that, once when there was a lockdown and the physical market was closed, the online sector skyrocketed. And once that sector skyrocketed, we started getting more opportunities. The companies, the businesses expanded, and they started hiring more people. So that way, the market scenario is good. There will be multiple jobs. There would be good opportunities if you go for it. There are enough opportunities for to absorb most of the students that are currently studying. Okay. Next is Rahul Jaiswal. Ma'am, what are your suggestions for interview preparation? A final year student. Okay. So, Rahul, in your interview, as I suggested earlier, what the interview is actually looking for is they are looking for a smart mind. And for as far as your technical skills are concerned, they are looking for someone who has a decent grasp of the core technologies or the core things that person has studied in their duration of 4 years. Okay, so you have certain subjects which are very core and which you would ultimately use in your corporate life, in your work life. These include your object oriented programming. Okay, your any language, be it C or Java or C++, whatever you are studying on. Your basic data structures, not too deeply, not a lot of complex algorithms, but a basic understanding of data structures and little bit of algorithms. What exactly is the complexity, what exactly is the time constraints and different kind of algorithms, that sort of thing. Apart from that, your database, relational database, is immensely important because um, data forms a huge portion of any web application. And how to work with that data is an essential skill to have. So most of the questions that are asked in the interviews are around these for the technical round. For the non-technical round, they check the personality, they check whether you can handle pressure. They ask for basic things that you just need presence of mind. So I think if you prepare, if you focus on those things, it is the interview preparation, the actual interview would be actually easy for you. Okay. Um, the next question is Sandeep Kumar Maurya from third year. Please tell us about your journey. What are the big obstacles you faced and become successful, and who's your role model and who inspired you the most? Okay. Thank you, Sandeep, for that question. I think my journey we have already covered in the previous sessions, but just to reiterate, uh, it was TCS. In TCS, since I was a fresher, it was the most relaxed phase because during at least for the first 6 months, you actually are just a college pass out. So if you do not feel the pressure of working in a corporate company, the companies they are actually very easy on the freshers. So it was nice. It was good. I was working with good people, good colleagues, great clients. So a lot of opportunities there. Then after that, I left TCS after almost 2 years, 11 months, because I wanted to see what else is there in the market, what else I could get. And the other thing is, um, switching companies gives you a lot more exposure and a lot more financial benefit than staying in a company, because there is a limit to what kind of appraisals you get in a company. But when you switch, you get much more. You can gain much more in terms of money. So that was my major reason why I switched. DXC was another milestone. DXC, and it's not just DXC, it is the kind of project I worked on. The project was very mature. Most of the projects I've worked on till today, they are all 30 plus years project. I mean, if I look at the old codes which form the basic app of that project, they are written in 1990s. Some are even before I was born, and that application still exists because it is a very, it is a great business model, and it teaches you a lot that how a code could be so well written that it stands the test of time and is still usable after 30 years. So all these things they teach you a lot. Biggest obstacle, I would say, um, biggest obstacle, I would not use the word obstacle, I would use it as an opportunity. So when I started my career in TCS, I was trained in a language which is known as COBOL. Now COBOL is the business language of old time. So a lot of companies like the big companies, the big fours of the world, the banking sector masters, the airline sector masters, they use that language. No one else. A small business or a small company cannot imagine using those languages, because these were used to run on mainframes, and mainframes are servers which are massively expensive, and they are used for different kind of computation altogether. And I slowly transitioned myself into the languages which are more in line with the current development that is happening in the market, the web applications that are happening. So that was not really an obstacle, but kind of is, because I was trained differently and I was working differently for past 6 years, and then I started working on something which was entirely new. But we are a software engineer, so you should learn more new things. So that is how that had happened. My role model, I think there are so many inspirations if you see around us. When I started working, I used to see my managers, not just my managers, the business leaders at that time in TCS. There were great leaders who were at very high position, 15 years experience, 20 years experience, 25 years experience, and you actually look at those people and they inspire you more than the role models that we see on the TV, like in the runway, or you know um, a lot of people, a lot of successful people you see around on television and all, and in the industry, but they are not that tangible. The tangible people are actually around you. When you look at your seniors, your boss's boss, or your boss's boss's boss, and you see that person and you know that person in real life, you know that person's story. That person might not be from some IIT background, and but that person could be from any regional institute like I am, and that person has gone to that level. That inspires you. That inspires you more than Sundar Pichai inspired you, because I already know that I'm not from IIT. I'm not in IIM right now. So, but would that mean that I do not have a substantial career? No, you do. And these are the people. You see these people from all across. the country, from all across the kind of technical skills, and you see them reaching a place, and you realize, you do have what it takes to make it, because you see a lot of people who are doing it on their own without having the advantage of coming from a very strong background, coming from a decent third tier college also. A person can become a business head, so that inspires you more. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Sandeep.
Thank you, ma'am.
um
Ma'am,
yeah.
uh,
Hi, Shubham.
sorry to disturb you again.
No, no, not.
Ma'am, ma'am, when we switch from TCS to DXC, which is one of the, I think, great product-based company, so can you please elaborate about that incident or interview series or something like that, which is motivating about it?
Okay. So, um, it was not. I mean, when I became part of DXC, the interview process was difficult. I think it took around 2 months and three interviews. Uh, and I had to travel between Gurgaon and Noida because TCS was in Gurgaon and DXC was in Noida, and I had to travel back and forth for the interviews. It was tough, but I think what really worked in my favor was, um, I had 3 years, almost 3 years of experience of what I was working in TCS, that with me. So, what they were working when I went to DXC, the kind of questions were not related to generic, uh, generic computer science questions. They were majorly catered to the role that I have been doing, and since they were also working on a similar kind of system, the similar kind of application and similar kind of tech stack, when they asked me what I was doing, since I had done a lot of work in TCS, I had a lot to explain. So what they really saw was, okay, this person knows that we do this thing in this way, so it's okay. It doesn't matter whether you're coming from the service based company or a product based company, because at the end you can prove in front of your interviewer that you have worked, and that opportunity you can get even in service based companies. There is a lot of good work that is happening. I know that some of my previous colleagues in TCS, they went for training within TCS for IoT, that is Internet of Things, a 6 months course that they did from Ahmedabad, and after that they were transferred within TCS in the R&D department of TCS, which is highly prestigious. Even for product-based companies, it is highly prestigious, because TCS, when it works on R&D, it works on the cutting edge technology, which would be used not just in India but throughout the world. So he got that opportunity while working in TCS, which was a service based, and that skyrocketed his career, and he became a very sought after commodity for a lot of companies, and not just service based, for product based as well. So don't worry about the service based and product based. Worry about the kind of work you are asked to do. If you are in a service based company and you are doing good development work, you are good, you're sorted. If you are in a product based company but the kind of work you are doing is not giving you that much learning opportunity, then it might affect you badly in longer course of time. Okay, Shubham, that answers your question.
So, yes, ma'am, but it raises another query. But the ma'am project in the company we can't handle. No, ma'am. Thing is,
Yeah,
what project we have to do, they should be decided by the other people. So there may be bad project, there may be good project.
true. True, there may be good project, there may be bad project, and it is not entirely in your hand at first. Once we start working on it, a lot of people can, and that is a benefit of working in a big service based company. If you're working in a big company like Infosys and TCS, they have millions of projects. Okay, you can actually, it takes time, it takes a lot of fighting, but people actually get their projects changed, and they tell the reason that why they want to change, what sort of project they are looking for, when they get hired by, when they get interview calls for the other project. Okay, one more thing. It's not that you get into TCS, like I'm sharing my experience with you. It's not that I got out of my training and I was directly told that this is the project you would be doing. No. On my last day of training, I was told that my resume is shared with a lot of project managers within TCS, and they would be contacting me, and they would be having their own interview, internal interview, and they will assess my resume, and they will see whether I want to, whether I can join their product or not, project or not. You do have the option. You do have the option to say no to a project, because you are not, because you can also ask them to describe what sort of role they have, what sort of work they want you to do. If they tell you that this is the kind of work and you don't like it, you can say no to that project. You can ask the RMG is the resource management group within TCS which manages the resource. You can ask RMG that I'm looking for more development oriented role, can you please give me that sort of work. It is not easy. Nobody is, just, take you right away. Okay, right, you're saying it, you will get it definitely. But this is doable. Difficult but doable. A lot of people I know have done that. Many people did not realize it when they got into the project. They just got into the project because they did not know any better, and after 6 months they realized that they are not liking the work they are doing. They did ask their manager. The first thing you ask is, you want to work on something different. You want to work on better roles. Y- So if it is in their hand, they give you different kind of work. If that is also not happening, you don't see that kind of work happening at all in your project, then you can ask to switch your project. It takes a little bit fighting, but ho jata hai. Don't worry.
Okay. So currently in your current position and current company, what are the technologies you are working on, and what is your tech stack at for the project?
Okay. So, since I was primarily trained in COBOL, I am still working on one different part of COBOL, that is Fujitsu COBOL, but it is not running on mainframes. It is running on .NET platform right now. So I have the entire .NET stack along with Fujitsu COBOL. So it's like Fujitsu COBOL, then we have C Sharp, then we have REST APIs, SOAP APIs, we have Angular. So our entire web application is built on Angular. And then we are on cloud, AWS cloud. We are hosted on AWS cloud. So that is there. For DevOps, we have Jenkins, we have Kubernetes. So these are the hosting services. We are using IIS as the server. So more or less that is the technology we are working on. I primarily, since I'm working as an application developer, so I am majorly working on the APIs, the REST services, and the actual business logic of the application, which is in Fujitsu COBOL.
Okay, got it, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the next company is how to prepare for placements. I think we covered that. How to build my basic knowledge stronger. This was asked by Pranav Pandey, second year. Pranav, how to make your basic knowledge stronger? This will boil down to the very basics of it. Okay, you'd have to just go through the books that you have. There is no shortcut for it. There are programming principles. There are basics of computer science, the basics of operating systems, the basics of data structures and algorithms. These are the basic things that you get, and you get them the best from the books itself, because the principles that were written in 1960s and 70s, they still build the fundamentals of all the great work and all the modernization that is happening today. The fundamentals are still the same, and the way the books cover it, the kind of detailing that you get there, that is the most knowledgeable place. Apart from that, if you think that you have difficulty reading a big book which is huge, so you might go for online videos which would give you the same thing in smaller chunks, and you'd be able to visualize things better. So, but the topics would still be the same. Whatever is in your book, that would form your basic knowledge. Uh, in order to prepare for placement, this actually is different for different companies. So, um, what sort of companies would be coming in your college? Most of the companies, they go for um, their kind of, I think the first assessment would be an aptitude test. So there are websites for it which prepare you for the kind of aptitude questions the companies ask. If any of you are preparing for any kind of competitive exam, then you are anyway preparing for an aptitude test, which is much harder for the company. So you are covered there. You don't have to worry about company's aptitude test if you are preparing for CAT or UPSC. You will get it. Sorry, not UPSC, but for CAT or other kind of banking exams and all that. Then you'd be able to cover companies' aptitude test very easily. No problem there. Then the second thing would be your basic knowledge. That would be an accumulation of whatever you have studied. Take down 3 4 subjects which are actually more important than the rest. I mean, um, interviewers don't generally ask automata or concepts or deep concepts of operating system. They go for object oriented programming principles. They go for relational databases. They go for data structures and algorithms. So these subjects become more important from the point of view of your interviews, at least in service based companies. For product based companies, data structures and algorithms becomes massively important because a lot of their focus is on algorithms, and data structure is an important part of it. For rest of the things, you can have a good enough grasp, but these 3 4 subjects you need to study even harder. Okay. Mm, okay. What is Shreya Gupta asked? What is DXC? How you started your journey of working? Okay. Okay. So DXC is actually so DXC was basically a merger of CSC, that is Computer Science Corporation, and HPE, which is HP Enterprise. These two companies, they combined, they got merged, and the final company, the output company, company's name was DXC. So when I was working in DXC, I was working for a client which is known as Aviva. Aviva is an insurance company. It was located in UK. So we were doing a lot of work for it from the offshore, that is from India. After working for 1 year, I got the opportunity to work as an on-site coordinator. So I was working on something similar, but my major job was not just to work on the development side, but to work along with the clients, deal with the clients directly, and then coordinate the team which is sitting in offshore, that is here. So that is, I did not go in UK and started seeking a project. I was already working in that project, and then I was kind of transferred from India to UK. That is how the transition took place. Next question is, what matters most, internships or projects for our placements? That is why Shivendu. So Shivendu, um,
Yes, ma'am.
your internships are important, but your project is not just important for your placement, it is important for your final year marks as well. It is, I think, the most marks are, awarded for the project. So that becomes extremely important. Internships, they are good, but what happens is not a lot of students get good internships. I mean, you do
Yes,
realize
ma'am.
it. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah. So companies, they do prefer students who have internships, but it's not that if you do not get an internship, you do not have a shot, because it becomes really difficult, especially if you are living in a city like Allahabad, or in UP in general, where there are not a lot of IT companies where you can ask for internship. If you had a college in Bangalore, say, or Ahmedabad, you might have gotten more chance for internships, because if your college is in Bangalore and there are so many companies and startups in Bangalore, it is very easy for you to get an internship, right? But
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you are but if you are in a city like Allahabad or Lucknow or Kanpur, as a matter of fact, companies know that these cities, they do not have the advantage of companies or places where people will get internships. So it's okay if they don't. If you do get, then yes, it is a massive advantage. Okay. So, and project you have to do like anyway. Your project, final year project, gives you a lot of marks. Companies, you do discuss, it's not just about placements. When you sit in any interview, your project is the only thing in which you have actually worked on something. You have created something which is working. Whereas in your studies, you have just, studied or understood the concepts. So, project you can showcase, okay, whatever I've studied or understood, I am able to implement that. In that way, your project is very important. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is Rishabh Kumar. Does IRT have on-campus placement facilities? If yes, what are the skills required to get placed? If no, what are the conditions on market currently in terms of off-campus? Is it very challenging to get placed off campus? IRT does have on-campus facilities. At least, if I remember, we had a couple of companies that visited for us. I'm sorry, but I don't know what exactly is the scenario right now. But we do have a culture of a TPO cell, that is training and placement cell. So these people, they always, stay in touch with the companies, and they try to, check which companies are coming. So if if you guys have a functioning TPO cell, Shivendu, do we have a functioning TPO cell
Yes,
at
ma'am.
this?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
this year only, ma'am, a few of our seniors got placed in some software development role and IT roles.
Okay. Then that's great. So your TPOs will make sure that you get some companies, at least few companies in campus. The skills required are again your basic things that you have studied in your throughout your curriculum. Some subjects are more important than the others. These subjects being data structure, algorithm, your relational database, object-oriented programming. These things. Apart from that, little bit aptitude is required. Um, is it challenging to get placed off campus? A little bit, but only because of the fact that there is a lot of competition. It becomes difficult when you go to a walk-in and you see thousands of people around you who are applying for the same role, and the companies, they have limited number of seats. So in that way, it becomes challenging, but it is doable if you are going to a lot of interviews and you think that you are giving nice, decent interview, you have a good shot to get placed. So it's difficult, but it is plausible. It is possible. A lot of people get placed like that. So um, and a lot of companies do hire people in bulk. So they have good openings. So the companies like TCS, Wipro, and Infosys, they hire a lot of people because they have a huge business. So they need a lot of people. So you could get placed easily. No problem there. Vimal Mishra, BTech Computer Science and Engineering segment. Will our programming be replaced by quantum programming in the next 10 years? Okay, that's an interesting question. I would say no. I think that quantum programming would become a major part of programming when it comes to your AI portion and robotics, and especially your security related algorithms. But the conventional programming, that is your web development and your application development, I don't think they would change from your conventional programming to quantum programming, at least in next 10 years. Maybe it can happen in next 20 to 30 years, but that level of automation is not happening anytime soon, at least on that massive level where it replaces it completely. That I don't think it is a likely scenario. Adarsh in BTech engineering third year. Is English language necessary for placement interview? If not, then how can I get a high package as compared to a person who that is proficient in English? English is I would say it is an added advantage. But when we talk about English, you do not need to be, a fluent speaker, or at least, or a big, or, have great vocabulary, or, a novel writer, as a matter of fact. If you have enough skills that you can explain your thoughts or explain whatever are your answers that are asked to you in English, in common, normal language, normal, basic English, I think that helps. But not knowing or not being able to converse in English, it becomes little problematic in the companies, because first, most of the clients are from outside. So if the clients are from outside, then how would they, talk to you or interact with you when you are not able to understand the language they are talking in? The other thing is, not just the clients who are outside, your own team is not just comprising of people who speak in Hindi. They might comprise of people who are working in Chennai or Orissa or Tamil or, Malayalam, or sorry, Kerala. So they don't know Hindi as well. So even within India, you will not be able to collaborate with your team completely if you're not comfortable in speaking in English. Uh, it's not that everyone in the IT industry speaks English very fluently, but they have a basic understanding that they get by. So you can start by that. The package, I don't think in a basic interview or at fresher level, it matters that much. The package that is offered to a person who speaks English, uh, in the most professional way, and person who speaks English in a basic way where he can get by in all the basic conversations, they would be offered the same package. I think the real problem comes when you try to grow in the same company. English does help when you are trying to make transitions, when you're trying to collaborate with different people, and trying to collaborate with people who are not just around you or not just from around you, but from far apart. Okay. Um, Adarsh, does that answer your question? Okay. Moving on, we have Kushal Khare. That is, since lockdown, students have been posting about getting remote work opportunities at startup overseas. They say due to lockdown, these companies have opened up to hiring in India as well. They are paying pretty good. Yes, that is true. And if you could get an opportunity like that, you should definitely go for it. As I said, the companies all around the world realize that they do not need people in the same vicinity in order to get the work done. And they realize that they don't even need the companies, the people in the same country. So they can easily, send the work to outside, to the remote countries like India, as a matter of fact, and we'll get the roles here. The other side of the same conversation is, it's not just the big companies that needed these kind of works. There are a lot of companies who are actually smaller in size, or the businesses which are smaller in size, they never considered online businesses before, but now due to lockdown and all these things, they had to, because they were not able to, operate in a physical environment. Now they have entered into the online environment, so they have seen that the online environment is actually profitable to them, so they would want to continue in that arena. And if you get an opportunity like that, it is actually a very good work. It is a very good work for that you could pass as an internship, that you could pass as a basic contract that you get. So if Kushal, if you get an opportunity like that, go for it. Shubham is in industrial. What are your views in current job scenarios in general? The current job scenarios, it differs industry wise. I can say for IT, the scenario, it looks really good. I mean, there are the market is exploding. People are using more and more online accessories. The web applications and the websites are increasing in general. A lot of there is an entire shift in generation where people are getting more comfortable with the online transactions instead of going going to a shop physically and buying things. So there is a shift, a paradigm shift in the ideology of the consumer, and that is driving a shift in the ideology of businesses as well. People want to buy or get access to things online, and that is what the companies are trying to give them, be it in education sector where online classes and you know edutech websites have become popular. There are fintech companies which have become really popular. People are using Paytm, GPay more than they are carrying cash these days. So all these things, they are creating a complete ecosystem which is very healthy for any kind of technology to grow, and not just in IT, in terms of every sector. So if people are using internet more often, there would be a growth in telecom as well. There would be a growth in if there are EVs or electronic vehicles coming in the market, then it helps the electronic sector and the car manufacturing sector as well. So there is a technological boom which is happening in the market, and that I think would help all of us. So that was question number 24. I think this is the last question I have on my list. And yeah,
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing all our queries. Concluding today's session, in the end, I would like to thank respected ma'am for your very thought-provoking and motivating address. We all are very grateful to you for taking out time from your bustling schedule to enlighten us with your words of wisdom and encouragement.
thank you, Priya.
Your words had a
Thank
great
you, ma'am.
impact on all of us and gave us a lot of ways to make our lives a success too. I'm very sure that everyone present in this meeting are all inspired by your words, ma'am. I now want to extend my vote of thanks to all the participants for joining us with great excitement and zeal. I'm certain that this webinar would prove to be helpful to all of us in one way or the other. Thank you and have a great weekend.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me here. And
Thank you, ma'am.
just yeah, and just a last note, even if after the session, if anyone has any questions, anyone has any doubts, or any kind of help in general, you can reach out to me. I think you have my LinkedIn pro. You can search me on LinkedIn. I think my number is with Ashutosh. Reach out to me in case you face any issue, and if I'd be happy if I could be of any help. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Okay.
so much,
See
ma'am.
you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
चलो ठीक है बाय